If you have Snapchat or you've had Snapchat, I'm pretty much sure you're familiar with streaks. What they are is they're basically this feature that appears when you've been snapping and interacting with someone over a given time period. They're used as a hook to keep you on the app, and it's Snapchat's way of keeping you on a leash so that you don't make progress. I'm someone who used to have streaks with quite literally everyone until I realized that they didn't actually mean much. And it's only when I learned the dark truth about them is when I stopped actually doing them. Not only did I stop actually doing them, but I stopped using the app entirely. I'm Raihan, and in this video I'm basically going to be telling you why you shouldn't even really be keeping streaks with people. I'm also going to be giving you some practical advice as to how you can become a better, more improved version of yourself. It's my mission to help you win and break free from all the modern day constraints there is out there. If you like how that sounds, make sure you like and subscribe to best show support, as it really helps the channel out. It also helps my content get to the right people who need to hear this message. But now that's out the way, let me begin the video. Let me just start off by saying that when you use streaks, you quite literally just create fake friendships. Like, I remember when I used to use the app, there was just so many people I had added that I would just snap and interact with who I didn't even really like. Like, I was just using them to get streaks and so I could increase my Snap score. I remember when I was in year 8 and year 9 and I used to use Snap, I remember there used to be people in my year group who used to have like 600, 700,000 Snap score. And I was so astonished, because it was like, I didn't even realize you could get Snap score that high. And then obviously I realized that in order to get Snap score that high and to have this so-called status and fame from having that number, I needed to snap more people. And so when I did that, I basically was just adding people that I knew, even though I wasn't friends with them. I'd add them and I'd snap them and I'd do streaks. And most of those people that I would snap, I didn't really care about. Like, I didn't care about them. I didn't care about what they were doing. Like, some people would send pictures of what they were eating and where they were going. I literally had no care in the world. All I was focused on was getting their snap score so I could increase my snap score. I was getting their snaps to increase my snap score. That was the only thing I was concerned about. And I realized that not only was I doing this, but everyone else I knew was doing this. Girls were doing it to guys so they can increase their snap score. Guys were doing it to girls. Everyone was doing it. Like, there was always someone that someone else had added that they were just using for snap score, and just so that they could have a higher, basically, metric for their account or whatever. People were literally manipulating each other just to get more snap score, and it just wasn't a good thing. It was just a very toxic environment, and if you were anyone like me, you could very quickly see how this was a problem. Snapchat gives you a very fake illusion of how many friends you actually have, because when you actually open the app and you have like the list of all the people, you pretty much think that everyone that's there is your friend. And it's like, no, none of them can be your friends. Like, this is a surprising truth, and it's that you can have 0 friends on Snapchat. Like, they can easily just be people you know from school, people you know from like a sports club or whatever, but they're not actually your friends. And that is a very harsh reality that hit me. And it's when I deleted the app, and it's like, that's when I realized that none of the people on that app was my friend by any means. You have all these people on your list that you're snapping and interacting with every day. You have someone with the best friend sort of like icon, but the only reason you have that is because it's superficial, and so that some people use it for their gain, and you might even be using it for yours. And another thing, the word friend, so many people just throw the word out there like it just doesn't mean anything. Like, so many people don't even really understand what it means to have a true friend. And I think that's a big problem, especially with everyone in this generation. Just because you're in the same class as someone doesn't mean you're friends. Just because you see someone every day doesn't mean you're friends. You can have and be close with so many people, but if they don't share the same values, traits, and goals as you, are they really friends? If they don't support you for what you do, if they don't applaud you for your achievements, if they don't check in on you, are they really your friends? No. So then why do we use the term friend for people that we just snap with? Because they're not. And this is why I think the app and streaks and all these other things are just a massive problem. When people have Snap, they only use it, like some people I know, only use it just for Snap score. Like, if they want to message people, they'll message people on another app like Instagram or Messages, but they'll just use Snap as a way to gain Snap score and gain this superficial level of success. Is that even what people call it? Because I don't think it is, and I just don't think that if you're someone who's focused on developing themselves and becoming a better person, you don't want to be focused on this, because it just doesn't mean anything. And this brings me on to my second point, and it's that without streaks, Snapchat wouldn't exist. Like, the app would be completely dead. Think about what I've just said there. if there was no streaks, if that whole feature was gone, the app would basically not exist. If you really think about it, if you take away streaks, Snap is quite literally the same as any other messaging app. It's the same as Facebook, it's the same as Instagram, it's the same as Messages, because without the streak, people say you can snap, you can send photos to other people on other apps. You can send pictures of what you're doing on like Instagram or iMessages. It's just that Snap has just become this photo-centric app where we have to snap and capture everything. But you can do that on other apps. So without the streak, without the need to just go on the app every day, the app's just dead. And if you've deleted Snap or you've gone past it and you've basically got rid of your addictions from the app and you move past it, then you'll basically realize what I'm saying. Because without the streak, there's no need to be on it. There's nothing pulling you to the app. Therefore, you just let go of it. And if there wasn't any dopamine from the streaks and people weren't actually happy with them, I think most people would just go on to other apps and message anyway. Like if there was no dopamine, there was no excitement from using Snap, other people would go to Instagram, or some people would just go to Messages like I do. And this is something that I find to be very true. And the only reason you use Snap and the only reason why most people use Snap is because it's convenient and it's because everyone else uses it. That's the only two reasons. From the people I've spoken to who use Snap and the people that I know that use Snap, the only reason they kind of use it is because everyone uses it that they know of, and it's just convenient. Those are the only two reasons. If those two reasons didn't exist, I don't think anyone would be using Snapchat. It's just the younger demographic, the younger audience that tend to use these apps the most. And it's like, everyone gets to an age and everyone gets to a point where they just delete the app. As you get older, it's just a thing where people just delete the app and they just have no need to be on it. It's kind of like this sort of mutual thing and this unanimous agreement upon everyone else, where it's just like, we don't need the app anymore. Like, we've kind of outgrown it. And some people don't ever finish that stage where they just stay children forever, and you have that one 25-year-old who uses Snap. I have a funny story about this, and I remember when I was in the gym this one time, there was this one girl who was like on the Smith. So in my gym, there's a Smith machine. There was one girl who was on the Smith machine, and I remember I was on the lat pull down. I remember like I saw a glimpse of her phone, and she had Snap open. I was like, I remember for a second I thought like I was a bit confused because she was way older, and then I looked at her and I looked at her phone, and then I looked away and I was like, she's 25, 26, probably, right? She's pretty hot, but that's besides the point. And she has Snap. Like, this is something that's bizarre to me. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So now I've kind of just spoken about how snaps and streaks are basically just pointless. I want to talk about what actually happens when they actually end. And this is the important part of the video that I really want you to listen. Because if you have streaks with loads and loads of people, you probably haven't thought about them ending, or you probably haven't seen them end. But this is the part where I'll talk about what actually happens when they end and what it actually means for you and your growth. There's just such a high level of awkwardness and bizarreness once the Snap score ends. Like, you've seen this person that's popped up on your Snap for like days, weeks, months, years. Like for me, it was over a year. And I was just so used to just seeing her name with the like fire icon. I think I changed the fire icon to like a yellow heart or something, because that's when the app noise were really close. But basically, once that like ended and once that finished and once that went away, there was just such a weird feeling. And I can't even describe it because she was probably feeling the same thing. But in general, there's just such weird discomfort when it ends. And that isn't it. It's not just that there's discomfort. It's that when it ends, people don't really want to do the streak again. Like, if you've had a streak with a girl or a guy for like 300, 400 days like I did, and you lose it, you don't really want to build it back up, because it's like, what's the point? Like, you had like a massive streak, and most people tend to have higher streaks with someone else. So if you had a 400-day streak with a girl, and you have like a 300-day streak with another girl, you're not really going to want to like pick up the streak from 0 with this girl that was on 400. I mean, you might, but you're kind of just going to focus your attention to the other people you're snapping. And it was just like really weird. Like, yeah, such a weird feeling to describe. So most people just don't really want to pick up on streaks. Like, after they end, people are very, very unlikely to just pick up on them, and it just creates awkward tension, because one person might want to do the streaks, another person might want to pick back up on them, but often than not, there's just this really awkwardly charged situation that no one really understands how to manage and go through. Very rarely, this happened with me and it's happened with a few people I know, but there's conflict and tension when streaks end. Like, for example, some people might blame the other person and say, oh, well, you didn't like me enough to keep the streak. Or some people might argue about how, like, someone was ignoring them, and then it just creates conflict and problems. One person thinks that the other person's ignoring them, and then it just becomes such an awkwardly charged situation because you don't actually get anything from it, and it's just meant nothing. My personal opinion of streaks is just pointless. Like, I genuinely don't see a reason as to why you keep them. It doesn't mean anything, it doesn't benefit you, it doesn't help you grow and develop. And the worst thing about streaks is that they force you to be on the app every single day. Like, if you're someone who has Snapchat, for example, and you don't use it every day and you just use it to message, then fair enough, I understand your point and I understand where you're coming from. But if you're someone who compulsively goes on the app, then it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even have control of your brain and body, and it's just like, it's just not helping you. And you can probably see that because you haven't been able to break free from this app. And that's the reason why you've clicked on this video. But now I've given you my opinion on streaks, and I've gone over why you shouldn't really keep them and how there's not really any point. I want to give you action steps to actually help you become a better, more improved version of yourself. I want to give you a solution to the whole streaks thing so that you have the final answer as to what to do once and for all. And it's going to be hard. What I'm going to tell you to do if you have streaks right now with a few people, it's going to be extremely hard, and you're not going to want to do what I'm going to say. You're really not going to want to do it. And as I say what I want you to do, you're going to feel like a bit of discomfort in your stomach, and you're going to feel a bit of hesitation. And that's normal. But I still want you to do it because this is where you grow. And what I want you to do is to purposefully end those streaks. You might have like a 200-day streak with someone. You might have like a 300-day streak with someone. You might have a list of girls that you're snapping with like I did, and you had a bunch of streaks with them. But what I want you to do is I want you to just let go of the streaks and just stop doing them. After a week of the streak ending and basically you not really reestablishing the streak, or maybe all the streaks have ended, what you'll realize is how dull and boring the app actually is. You'll see the app for what it is and not for what the streak showed it to be. You'll see how mundane and dry the app is, and you'll see how people actually behave and act. I want you to see the effects on the app and how you feel when you're not being bombarded with sensory information. I want you to see how it actually is when you haven't got anything distracting you and you see the app for what it really is. There's other things about the app which I don't like, and from the guys that I've spoken to and from girls that I've spoken to, the app's just really toxic in general. People just choose to ignore you. Like, for example, there's that one girl you know from school that has left you undelivered for one day, and you just know she's been on her phone for one day, like within that time. Like, it's just bizarre, right? How people will just ignore you, disregard you, not choose to respond, and it just shows a lack of respect. Because if someone had respect for you, if someone had even just respect, just general respect for you, if someone just had respect for you, they'd respond, they wouldn't ignore you. But people just throw the middle finger up at you and they say, oh, I'm not going to reply. So I've kind of given you the first step, and it's to end the streak. The second step, for all the mature guys that are here and the guys who actually want to level up, take steps to delete the app and just remove yourself from it. Eliminate using the app, and I guarantee you, once you stop using Snap, you'll realize how boring the app really was, and you'll realize that you could have easily just filled in the space with something else, something more meaningful. And let's say you want to keep Snap, right? Let's say you choose, okay, I'm not going to delete it, I'm just going to ignore what Raihan said. I'm just going to keep it. Let me just ask you this one thing. If you aren't going to delete it, how long are you going to keep it for? That's a really good question. How long are you going to keep the app for if you're not going to delete it right now? Are you going to keep it for another year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Are you really going to be that one parent who has Snap and then they have a child, their kid gets Snap and they've still got Snap? Are you really going to be that parent who, like, when you go to pick up your kids from school, you just do a little one of these? Or you're like in the gym at like 30 years old and you've got like an amazing physique and you just do one of these? Are you really going to be that guy? Are you going to really be the zesty guy who does the mirror pick? Really? Ask yourself, are you really going to be half swiping girls at 22? Are you? If you see that you're going to end and delete the app at some point, the best thing I'd advise you to do is do it as soon as possible. Don't delay the process. Don't delay the time it takes for you to delete the app. Do it as soon as possible. You'll respect yourself, and your future self will respect you for the work and actions you're doing now. Anyways, I hope this video has helped you, and I hope I've given you some awareness and some guidance as to what these apps are doing and how much problems they're causing. I really hope you've learned something new, and I've kind of given you a bit of context as to what the problems are, because so many people are just not self-aware and not understanding of how things work. Just now, you've learned how a seemingly ordinary app has been taking away your life and basically been hooking you in. I've been showing you how an app's secretly been making you demotivated and lazy. And I've also helped you just understand that you're now in control of your actions. It is up to you to choose what you do from this point onwards. I've given you the action steps you need, so now you're well on your way to be equipped with the tools you need to thrive and become a better, more improved version of yourself. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you can like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel out. It also helps YouTube boost the video to other people who need to hear this, and maybe there's someone else out there who needs to hear the video. If you've gained any new insights, comment breakthrough down below so I can see how much you've learned and how much you've grown. But before I go, I'll just say one thing. Always strive for excellence, because great things will come your way.